Thank you, and good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
That would be good decision.
Good decision. You just watched our last show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I won't take that from our last show.
That was still pretty funny. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was
I
a
have
big
to
fan.
watch it. Really.
So we're getting ready. Okay, so we're gonna wait till. All right. So
I'm starting a watch party, so those of you who watched the last show, I went ahead and I'm going to start a watch party for my show.
really,
Well, why not? Because I don't know how many people are actually going to be watching, so I thought, what the heck?
what the hey?
What the heck?
So did you tell her we're getting ready to call her?
Yes.
All right. So we've got somebody that he is getting ready to call. Called. Her name is Cindy Flowers. And she's a rosebud. Let's see what we got here. Side.
She sometimes is a rosebud. We grew up together.
She sometimes is a rosebud.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, some of the stories that may come up, folks, remember the views and opinions of this show are not exactly the opinions of X Media Group or X Ministry or any of its affiliates. Hey, I did that pretty good. I've listened to you enough. But anyway, no, I'm really privileged to be a part of X Media Group and what Jim and Pam have done for me and what you and Jay have done for me and let me come aboard the morning drive.
We love you very much.
Thank you. And I'm glad that the Lord was able to get me through the cancer and get through my current situation.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep it,
Above
board.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you went through quite a deal in a very, very sensitive spot. I mean, it'd be bad no matter what spot on your body it's on.
Right.
It just so happens that it's on a very, very sensitive area of the body that, a lot of people don't like to think of.
Right.
And we're thankful that you're making it through it okay. We would have never known if you hadn't told us because you're always smiling and stuff. Sometimes I see you space off and start thinking about stuff, but then you come back and you're like, so.
Yeah, I'm a thinker, and sometimes I'm a sponge. Not
Yeah.
sponge. That dude, the yellow square guy.
Sponge Rick, circle pants.
Yeah.
Anyways, you like how I did that?
Yes, that was good.
So let's go ahead and get Cindy on here, and then I've
Okay.
got to run down to the car and get some stuff for Troy and Belinda's show coming up next.
Yes, and that's a great show.
And then I'll come back up and I'll chat with Cindy too, because I don't think we've ever actually
No,
talked.
you've never really met. Well, Cindy, you're in for a treat. So this is Cindy Flowers. We grew up together. I love that.
This music is brought to you by Skype. See if she actually answers. There we go. What?
Hello?
Cindy!
Yes,
Cindy, it's Matt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Matt?
I'm great. So I got Steve. This is his show, so I'm not going to take it over, but
Thank goodness. No.
can you hear everybody okay?
She laughed.
I can
She
hear
heard-
everybody fine.
Yeah.
Good deal. So I'm going to leave you two at it for just a few minutes, and then I will be back up and we'll chat and be able to chat with Cindy Flowers. But Cindy, you're on the air. You're live now.
Aren't you lucky? Woo. Oh, it's
Good morning, Captain Bible.
I knew she was going to do that. Good morning.
Captain Bible?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's a
Captain
story.
Bible.
Yes, and I've been known by Captain Bible by a lot of people, including Cindy. And then there's
I will be right back. You continue talking about it, Captain Bible.
See what you started? I knew it. So Cindy,
It all started with Holy Roll.
it all started with Holy Rollin'. That's right.
It all started with Holy Rolling at the
After eating
Singles
Taco Bell, but we
Coffee-
won't go
what was
there.
it? What was it? It wasn't. What was it? It was the Singles Coffee House at night.
Yep, it was the single. They called it the single. The single mingle, or was it the single mingle?
Yeah, but it was. Remember, we had the Singles Conference, and then everybody came, and we had the coffee house
Yes.
after the
After the
that
conference,
Saturday
yeah.
night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about when everybody was in that room. They're all chanting Captain Bible, Captain. When I did some other songs that, see, I can't, by the way, I can't really mention a lot of names because this is a situation where we're
Live
not,
on the air.
yeah, and copyright. Anyway,
Yes.
so it's been
Anyway.
so I know that you and I have grown up together, and it's been, I think, since the 6th grade, and that's a long time, folks. Sixth
Yes,
grade.
it is.
It was
He's
sixth
been
grade.
he's my brother from another mother, my
Yeah.
big brother.
Yes, and
Rode the bus together, sat kitty corner, and what did we use? Block. Mr. Struble. Remember?
yeah.
Language arts, social studies.
Oh, that was
He-
quite a class.
He may seem quiet, but let me tell you that he is extremely funny.
Mr. Struble?
And no, you.
Oh, me. Oh.
Mr. Struble, no, you. He's had me in stitches, I mean, for years and years, just the stuff that he comes off with and everything, the characters you've done, there's the messes we've got ourselves into.
Yes, and they're classic messes, but the Lord is grace. He put grace on people, and that's how we got out of it, was a lot of grace.
Oh yeah, for some a lot of grace.
Yes.
That is for sure.
And some of the we won't get into it today, but you're gonna be here live, so we're gonna wait, and I think that would be better if we waited till you got here to say some certain things, like the the adventures with the probe.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The probe adventure is what I call it.
Everybody can get involved in that. But what did you say you wanted to talk about?
Your testimony, actually. So we're going to get serious a little bit here, and Cindy, just tell us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and what's going on with you now.
Well, let's see. Oh gosh, how far are you going to go back? Any text? Sorry about that. Well, I grew up Catholic.
Okay.
In Detroit.
Right.
Raised Catholic, but I wasn't aware. I mean, I'm not coming against Catholics or anything. I'm going to be talking about everything from my perspective. So, and I have respect for people that are Catholic, but I'm going to talk about from my eyes, through my eyes, and what I experienced. And so growing up Catholic, what I had learned was, I learned who Jesus, I learned who Jesus was, but I didn't know him. I knew of him, but I didn't know him. So as I got older, things got crazy in school, and that I ended up hooking up with my ex-husband.
Yeah.
I was almost going to say his name. So
good thinking.
But as we knew, we all grew up together and everything. But and then when things got really bad, the abuse got bad, and then I kind of had to make an escape, and I didn't have really a church or any understanding. I just knew the Lord just put it in my gut. I got to go back, and it was in search of him, because I was lost. So I went back to the Catholic Church. The only thing I knew. And when I told him that, I was getting divorced and, married young, and I married out of the Catholic faith and everything, the priest looked at me and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you absolution. And it was like, what? And he said, I can't give you absolution. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're going to do. And I'm like, wait, what are you saying? Are you saying that the Lord won't forgive me? Are you saying God's not going to forgive me? And he said, I don't know what you're going to do. That threw me into anxiety, a panic attack after panic attack after I was crying. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the Lord's not going to forgive me. I'm not forgiven. I'm not forgiven. And that is when a friend of ours, another mutual friend of ours, took me over to the church. Can I say the church name?
Yes.
Okay, Mount Zion. And that's when, we were at the smaller church, the one on, the original. And they took me in, and I was just sobbing, and I was just having panic attacks. I said, they told me this, God doesn't. He goes, no. So then I started learning the truth, and that is where I got saved. And that is when my life started to change. Now, I've had, bumpy roads in through there.
A lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of bumpy roads. But then through that, somehow, and then it was pretty much after Shaney passed away, the Lord had directed me to go back to school. So I had nothing. I just hid away, and I pretty much had given up on, the human race thing. Just didn't want to feel pain anymore. Didn't want to hurt anymore. And it was like, nah, I'll just stay hidden. I had an apartment that you could see it from the outside. It looked normal. But when you open the door, it had stairway. It was my stairway, but you go up the stairs and then turn around and go up the stairs. I called this apartment Anne Frank's hideaway because though you could see it from the outside, I was hidden. Like I was hidden up in a, hidden away from the world.
It was a nice
and
apartment.
That's what I named it. It was in an apartment, yeah.
It was.
And I called it Anne Frank's hideaway, and at that point I was taking. They gave me some Valium because I was going through anxiety, but I wasn't taking the Valium for the right reason. I was taking the Valium so that I didn't have to feel the pain of the loss of Shane and have to deal with it. I begged. I started going over to the river, and I begged the pastor there, who was counseling me. I begged him to, help me to deal with this pain, and he said, "I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I can't take that from you. You have to go through it." And it was like, oh, this is agonizing.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes we have to go through things like this, and it's not a test. It's just, the Lord allows us to go through certain things to maybe grow and mature.
Yeah, this is what brought me to it, because when I was taking the Valium, I started taking it for the wrong reasons and taking it to cover my feelings instead of using it as an anxiety. And I found myself at one point where I'm like, I'm not getting anything done. I'm not being motivating. I'm just here. I'm just existing. And that's when I just quit cold turkey. I went through all the withdrawals and everything to get it out of my body. And I remember I got this thing in the mail from Franklin Graham, Samaritan's Purse, and it was a challenge to pray every day for a month. So I thought, you know what, I just felt glad to do it. I started doing that, and then I started getting back into my Bible. Suddenly, everything started to change, and that's when I moved out of there, and I moved into another apartment, and it had to be a few months later, I was talking with someone, and they said, I was looking for work, and they said, you know what, Cindy, you're not going to be able to get anything short from having, an associate's degree. And I'm like, that's it. I'm just going to have to go back to school. So I opened up the phone book, or not the phone book, I'm sorry, on the computer, and I look up Liberty University's first thing that pops up. I'm reading about it. Liberty University had changed my life.
Yes.
Significantly.
By the way, Cindy, who's Shane? People don't know who Shane is. I do.
Oh, Shane. Shane was my little grandson. He was born extremely premature, but he was a little fighter, and he came out. He was autistic,
Yeah,
and he had,
his mom
other
loved
little
him very
things.
much.
Yes, yes. He was an amazing, amazing little boy who did some very incredible things for the 5 years that he was here. He changed my life. I stopped doing a lot of things and just kind of focused right on him. And he kind of taught me what unconditional love is, because this little boy loved me. I mean, the first thing in the morning, when you're just looking pretty gnarly and everything, and he didn't care, So, but his death devastated me. I've never been in that position before, and it made me realize when I was sitting in his room when he had passed away, I'm looking at all the things that he loved. Things that he could not go to, be without every day, or go to bed without every day. And he didn't need any of it. He left it all. But what he did take was a piece of all of us. That's what I learned. So it was like a step from here. It was things that the Lord was doing within me that needed to be worked on and changed. But Liberty has completely changed my life, completely. I have a much deeper sense of who God is. I know him on an even deeper personal level. My worldview has changed. It got me. What it did actually, it put me on this road where I realized, because I'm a counselor. Trauma and crisis is what my concentration is in, where I specialize in. That's not something that I wanted to go into. You know me, I wanted to be a dance teacher.
Yes, that was your dream. That was what you thought that God was giving you the ability to do.
Exactly. I mean, I had that talent.
Right.
But that's not where he wanted me, and I'm like, this is not what I signed on. But I realized that those scriptures, when they talked about, you have your plans. Like, God is the one who decides, he has the last word on everything. It's his, his ways, not ours. And, we make our plans, but he's the one who steers the boat. And that's exactly what he did. As a matter of fact, I started at Liberty. I was going to be a kindergarten teacher.
Yes, I remember you told me that.
Yeah. And he took that boat, and he's like, nope, we're going in. All you need to do is put your boat in the water and just start rowing. And trust God, and God will steer your boat in the direction that he wants you to go in. I think that's where we make the the little wrestling comes in, is that you're going, oh, my boat's going to the right. And that's not the way it's supposed to go. It's supposed to go to the left, and your boat goes to the right again. And it's like, okay, I'm going to try it again. And you have to feel it out and see. And if your boat keeps going in this direction, then you got to go, Lord, are you sending me this way? And he will equip you with things that you didn't even think that you were capable of doing. Just like with you, I mean, there were so many areas with you, growing up. You wanted to do this, you got into this, and here you are today. You are an ordained evangelist, and you have your own radio show. Mm-hmm. Who'd have thought that? Well, way back.
Right. You're right.
So it's definitely been a journey, and we can talk about what we've gone through more, when I'm there to see you, get into more detail of things, but we're cut for time and just being on the air right now. But even with you, I'm so glad that you told your story when we talked about it. And I said, you got to tell your story. You got to tell your story. Do you know how amazing it is when you tell? And I look at you and I brag about you and say, he, by all rights, you should have never been into the Navy, but you surpassed all that. And not only, and then you graduated. You stood there. You went through all of that pain of standing there, but you graduated. You reaped that reward, and you can look back on that and go, look at what I did. That's an amazing thing that you did.
Yes.
It really is, and I don't think you ever really recognized that within yourself. You got to see just how much strength you really do have.
Yeah, and it was a struggle, but the Lord's the one that gave me the strength to get through that. That's for sure.
Yes, exactly. Then you look at yourself, and it's like, wow. Look, and I could see through all the things that we've gone through, and seeing where you are today. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And if the people out here on his show, I've known Steve for so long. And the things that he's had to go through and where he is today, it is an amazing thing. It is amazing what God can do. And he's an amazing guy. And if you ever have the chance to get to know him, it's a blessing. I have been blessed to have him in my life for this long. There were times where, as you know, we've come apart, we've gone in different directions, but somehow God always brought us back.
Yep.
Always brought us back together. Always, no matter what. So, it's been an amazing journey on both sides, I would say.
Yeah, and with you graduating, and then now I think you're working on your master's, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're in your finals week this week, and so we need to pray for Cindy Flowers. She's really doing a great job. She's doing the best that she can. God's given her a lot of help in that area. No, we need to pray for Cindy during this time of finals week, and we know that God's got his hand on you, Cindy, and the Lord loves you. I love you, and of course, with everything that you've helped me through, I appreciate that. I just want to let people out there, let you guys know, and I shouldn't say out there, you guys are a part of this show, believe it or not. And so I appreciate what Cindy said, and just continue to pray for both her and I. So let's go back a little bit. You said that you went to Mount Zion and you were going to be a dance teacher. What ended up happening at Mount Zion?
It just kind of, things just changed. People have changed. And you could just feel that it was time. Let me back up.
Okay.
When we were going to do the message in Toyland, remember?
Yes.
I had got prayed over. And they said to me, and at first I was really sad. I was like, Lord, no. Because I was, I felt I was established there. I had friends, but there were still some things, some stuff that I was upset about with that. But I got prayed over that there was going to come time I was going to be leaving the church for other things. The one thing that I did find was that I never got taken seriously there. That was my only issue.
Yeah, I wasn't taken seriously
and no matter
either.
everything that I put into, it was always overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
I volunteered. I was always there. I was always there to help, but I was always overlooked. And that gets discouraging after a while when you want to be a part of something, but you find in any church. It happens, you
Right.
know, the cliques, the groups, you know, and that happens. And you know, people fall through the cracks. But it's taught me something. It's taught me a lot, especially bringing that into you know, all my years of my counseling classes at Liberty. I kind of counseled myself, actually, a lot of issues. So,
Well, you know, with Message in Toyland, that really taught me a lot. It taught you some things, but it also, didn't you say that it gave Pastor Lauren the message for Christmas Eve service after he invited us to do the same thing we did for the singles? Well, I think that you need, you know what, you need to do that for our Christmas Eve service. I now have my message for Christmas Eve, and we're like, you and I both were like, what? Huh?
yeah, that was, and it was, I didn't get to direct it, which broke, you know, I was mad, and I was upset about it. But like you said, you took me aside and you said, Cindy, don't worry about it. You know, as long as God sees it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Just, you know, we'll do the best you can. And so we did, and here it was, you know, there was a lot of errors in it for the singles group, but Pastor
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
Steve was a jack in the box, but he was a really good jack in the box. But but he is the best comedian. He is so funny. Like I was saying, Steve is so funny. Steve was supposed to, the little ballerinas were supposed to come out, and they wind up the box, and Steve jumps out of the box, you know, pops out like a jack in the box. The night of the performance, what happened? You tripped and fell in the box.
That was during the singles. It wasn't during the Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
The Christmas Eve,
Oh, okay.
it was different. The Christmas Eve was so much better. It was like what Dennis said. What did he say? He said it was like having tennis shoes in a dryer. Thump, 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 thump,
Yes,
thump.
because
I fell in Matt, I fell in the box.
You fell in the box.
I fell in the box, and you could hear me. I'm trying to wrestle around, trying to get myself up, and it sounded like a pair of tennis shoes inside of a dryer.
You fell in the box.
I know I was in the box, but I tripped. I tripped on one of the flaps of the box down below, and I tripped and fell back in the box.
That would be pretty priceless.
Oh, it was on film, but we lost the film, but it was hilarious.
that's all I could hear was.
Exactly, that's what you. And I said we better make sure that doesn't happen again.
Hold on,
So
let me see if I can recreate this for you guys.
So we actually cut the hole in the back of the box so I could crawl in the box instead of trying to crawl above the box. I crawled in behind, and it was so much better. we cut the flaps all down so it was just the box right on the floor. It was a refrigerator box.
Yeah.
It was we made this thing out of a refrigerator box.
Yes, and you jumped out as soon as you got your bearings and you were able to get. You jumped out so fast you scared one of the ballerinas.
Yes, the look on that ballerina's face was priceless. Oh
my gosh,
man.
that was so funny.
There were so many bloopers, but it was funny bloopers. It wasn't just like,
my
nobody
gosh,
got hurt,
there was.
but
through that, Pastor Lauren was giggling too, but Pastor Lauren saw what God gave me, that vision that God gave me,
yeah.
and he, if that's what.
Can
it
you
was
hear that,
all
Cindy?
meant to be.
Did you hear that?
That was a really small box. So imagine a miniature version of Steve in the small box.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. And then.
Oh.
It's like a pocket, Steve.
Morning, Jessica.
Jessica.
Jessica Thomas.
Good morning, Jessica Thomas.
I hope you're doing okay, Jessica. I mean, I wish I could have helped you out, but I hope that everything's calmed down. Sorry, Cindy, I had to say that real quick.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
But we learned so much from that skit, if you want to call it that. That when I jumped out there, I mean, when I came out and saw through the curtain, you actually was like, oh my goodness, there's some people out there, and I'm like, yeah, okay, and I didn't expect to see 950 people. That's what we were told that was out there, and all I saw was all those deacons, elders sitting in the front. There was like 12 of them, and I was like, oh my goodness, right, Cindy, everything's gonna be going. I'm thinking to myself, oh man, and I'm telling Cindy, everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine, and and then things went off a lot better than they did for the singles group. So the Lord was with us.
Yeah, me and Steve, it started at the coffee house for the singles.
Right.
When we first did our first skit together.
Right.
That's when we started the drama, the dance and drama. It started in the singles, but then it just kind of made its way into the church. But we started that.
Right.
And then, of course, we went our different ways, and that somebody else took over, but it never really had the impact after we had left, because we had to, so that I came up with the drama, the parabole, and that
what is parabole again?
Parables.
In Greek, it's parabole.
And that's what we did. That's what I do. The Lord would give me these. Didn't happen all the time. I will do. I'll give you an example of my and Steve at Mount Zion. Well, how we would do their skits, because that's what we would do at the singles group. I remember we had to come up with something for Christmas, which we ended up with the Message in Toyland. Every time, this is when Christian Lit was still big and popular. Every time Steve would go to Christian Lit, he always got a new cassette tape. Yeah, that's how old we are.
They're cassette tapes, they're the plastic thing, reel to reel with plastic mat. It's the plastic cassette tapes. Remember those?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So Steve he stopped by the house and then he was supposed to meet me at church, but he stopped by my house, and I said, well, where have you been? Oh, I just went to Christian Lit and picked up this. Oh, what'd you get? And he shows me this cassette. It was called Our Christmas, and it had the different artists for for Christmas, that the Christmas songs. I'm like, oh, let me borrow this. And it's like, Cindy, I haven't even listened to it yet. I haven't opened it. That's okay. Let me borrow it.
And she did that continually. Every tape I got, she had to try. Well, let me listen to it. And I'm like, wait, I just got it, so I'll just let me borrow it, and I'll give it back. And she got one. What was it, Brian Duncan? It was like almost a year later. Oh, by the way, here's your tape back.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had to get my own. And then we have this thing called the Aunt Sadie call. Oh. And the Aunt Sadie call was he was living with his Aunt Sadie. And when I was listening to the music, and then when I got everything together, like, oh my gosh, the Lord just gave me this, I would just call him, and it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he would get up, and he would go ahead, and I'll let them hear what you would say when I ring the phone.
Don't worry, Aunt Sadie, I got it. Okay. And you could hear her downstairs. Okay.
And then I'm telling him all this, all geeked up and everything. And he's half asleep, and then you hear, Cindy, yeah, can you tell me this in the morning? Like, yeah.
It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Cindy, Can we talk about this in the morning? I need to go back to bed. But we call it the Aunt Sadie call because it was so funny. Don't worry, Aunt Sadie, I got it. So now it's like, don't worry, Rachel, I got it.
Yeah,
Not
it's like,
now.
oh,
I mean,
but-
back then it was Rachel hadn't quite been involved yet. So
yeah. So the Aunt Sadie call has kind of been code for what the Lord has given somebody, given either one of us a vision or something that, are you sitting down, kind of thing. So it would be, so now Steve will text me or call me, leave me on voicemail, or I'll do the same and go, get a hold of me if you can. I have an Aunt Sadie call. So that's, if you ever heard Steve say something like that, or, I say something like that, Steve, that's what it means.
right.
So it's like, the Lord just gave me this vision. The Lord is, Cindy, are you sitting down? I got an Aunt Sadie call. And it's like, oh boy, what is it? So, that's something. But Parabole, when we came up with that, Parabole did not take off yet.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out why. But now it's getting ready to take off again, because I remember telling Steve, I think I'm just going to put Parabole. I think maybe that was just something to me, and you said, don't you dare.
Yeah. Hey, Steph. Sorry, Cindy. Stephanie, Rachel's sister's on. So hello to Steph. Anyway, go ahead, Cindy.
Oh, it's okay. And I remember you telling me, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't stop doing it, don't you dare. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And then as we started talking more and more, it's starting to things are starting to come into place where Parabole looks like it's going to, kind of flourish. So I'm going to be able to do the dance and the drama like I've always wanted to. But we just weren't ready yet. I think that I had to go through everything that I've learned at Liberty this far to be able to bring all these things from the Bible to the stage, to the video, to the people. But I needed more teaching, and I think
Right.
that's what it is. But you were the one that told me, don't give up on it. Don't you dare give up on it.
Right.
So I didn't. And now you're like, see, Cindy, look what's happening. Look what's happening. So,
Sometimes we just got to put more faith and trust in God, and He'll direct us in the path that He wants us to. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 is my life verse, and for good reason. So we just have to we don't want to lean on ourselves, but we want to trust in God and have faith, just like yourself. Now that you have done what you've done, you've grown in the Lord, you have put your faith in the Lord, and He's not only your personal Savior, but He's your rock. And because you're not married, Jesus is your rock, and He should be your rock whether you're married or not. He's the solid rock. And Brian, Brian Duncan was my guest back in April. And you and I have a lot to do with Brian Duncan. We use his music, folks, to do a lot of our dramas. A lot of his messages through his songs, we've been able to put a drama around it. And that's where the parabole and the drama, we either do both or we do one or the other. And but Brian's been a big help, and the Lord's brought him into our lives on a music standpoint, and I appreciate that. So, but Cindy, you've been such a great help for me. I mean, counseling. Now that you've had your degree, you went to Liberty, and you're still going to Liberty, but you're working on your master's. The Lord's really brought us back together for a reason, and now I think we're ready to launch an evangelistic type of program. And we're not ready to go on tour or anything, but I think that with God, what God's given you the vision to do, and for me to do, I think it's going to work out much better.
yeah, I do too. I think we're both in some. I think we're both in some good places now, but taking Brian definitely is a huge significance for us, as well as like Michael W. Smith and stuff, and being able to bring the Bible to life. That he spoke to us in parables, and bringing that to life. Sometimes, when he said, sometimes showing, when Jesus spoke, and sometimes everybody's learns differently. Some people are, can read and they take everything in. Some people have to have hands-on. That's the only way that they can learn, really, is to be able to be doing it while they're, learning it. And some people just, being told, not reading but being told, can learn that way. But some people, they have to see it. They have to have the whole combination. And, that's what Jesus would do when he would talk in parables, trying to talk about, situations and describe the kingdom of heaven. He would put it out there in such a way that, we could understand. Everybody could understand it. And that's what Parabole is about, is being able to take that and be able to put it out there to the people, not to the ones that already know. Of course, ministers, and we're always learning something new from the Bible and from something from God every day. But the ones that are the unreachables, the ones that have society has made, put their fingerprint in their thinking, in their worldview. And sometimes when you just put it out there and they see it from a whole different perspective, that's all it takes. At least like what we did with you, it plants the seed.
Yeah.
So,
well, Cindy, thank you so much for being my guest. We're going to have to wrap it up here, but I want to thank you for once again, and I can't wait to see you. I guess you'll be here shortly. I mean, you'll be here in the next, I think, month or so, or longer.
Like actually be here physically?
Yes.
Like physically be here.
are you
physically be
are
here.
you still using Hezekiah Walker?
Yes, I am. That you'll have to hear about that later.
Is that a puppet?
No, that's it's a thing
I
where
didn't know
I've
if it
got a
was
walker.
Jeremiah. Oh.
I got the walker, and so she said, "Are you using Hezekiah Walker?"
You named it Hezekiah?
Yes, that's just
Hezekiah Walker.
And then there's the cane. What was that?
Yeah, you don't use a cane anymore. You used to use a cane, but now you're able.
That's where I would have went with that.
See, I'm telling you, you and Cindy, I can't wait till she's here. It's going to be like Randy Plummer and you. It is.
It's going to be funny. I can't wait.
So anyway, but thank you very much, Cindy, for joining me, and I'll call you later today.
Okay,
but
that would be great.
Yeah, and
Could you do your fans and out there just one thing for me?
What?
I used to make them do this all the time.
Uh-oh.
Could you give us just a little sample of Chances Are?
Oh man, Johnny Mathis.
Oh, I don't know. Do we have permission to use that song?
I don't see, Cindy. I forgot to tell you that we got to be careful about doing that, even because that is a copywritten
okay.
song. But I could do it in person, but I just can't do it on the air.
I see. I get you.
But I knew you'd understand. But yeah, it's
well.
Anyway,
if you have a chance to get Steve alone, ask him to do his Johnny Mathis impression.
Johnny Mathis, I got you.
Okay, but thank you. We're getting ready to stay tuned now for Sacred Waves with Troy and Belinda Johansson. It's a great show, folks. So you want to stay tuned. Don't touch that dial, as they used to say. Seriously, it's a great show. You stay tuned for that. And Matt, thank you for helping us out with the phone.
Hey, you know,
And,
that's what I do.
That it was a good decision.
Good decision.
Cindy, you'll have to watch the morning drive if you get a chance. Watch the replay, and you'll understand what that was. So we'll talk to you next week, and God bless you, and have a brighter day. And thanks again, Cindy. Take care of yourself.
God bless you guys.
Bye, Cindy.
Bye.
All right. So thanks for joining us today, everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow. Be sure and tune in next for Sacred Ways with Troy and Belinda Johansson, where they're going to talk about some really cool stuff and do a little bit of singing. Bye, everybody. Sorry, you want the last word?
No, I already did.